The arrival commander Zektar stood on the bridge of the flagship Domination, his 6 eyes scanning the tactical displays with satisfaction. The Third Hegemony Fleet had conquered 17 worlds in the past cycle, and Earth would be number 18. The blue marble spinning lazily before them looked peaceful, almost defenseless. "Supreme Commander," his intelligence officer Vorthan reported, "our scouts confirm the inhabitants call themselves humans. They possess primitive nuclear weapons and basic space travel capabilities. No orbital defense platforms detected. No energy shields protecting their major population centers." Zektar's mandibles clicked in amusement. How disappointing. I had hoped for at least a modest challenge. He gestured with one of his 4 arms toward the view screen. "What is their response to our arrival?" "Multiple primitive radio transmissions, Supreme Commander. They appear to be talking to each other. Some directed at us, but in dozens of different languages. Quite chaotic, really." The Hegemony Fleet was impressive by any standard. 300 warships arranged in perfect battle formation, their dark hulls bristling with plasma cannons and kinetic accelerators. Each vessel was the size of a human city, crewed by thousands of Hegemony warriors who had never known defeat. On Earth, chaos reigned in command centers across every continent. General Sarah Martinez stood in the Pentagon's crisis room, watching satellite feeds of the alien fleet with a mixture of awe and terror. "How many ships?" she asked, though she already knew the answer would be devastating. 300 confirmed. "General," replied her aide, Colonel Williams. "Each one approximately 5 kilometers long. Our satellites are picking up energy readings that dwarf anything in our arsenal." President Chen's voice crackled through the secure communication line from the White House bunker. "General Martinez, what are our options?" Sarah looked at the tactical display showing Earth's entire military might. Every submarine, every fighter jet, every missile system was now under unified command for the first time in human history. It still seemed laughably inadequate. "Mr. President, we have 1,800 nuclear warheads ready for deployment. Our Space Force has 12 operational combat satellites, and the International Space Station has been evacuated. The combined naval fleets of all nations are standing by." "And your assessment?" Sarah paused, choosing her words carefully. "Sir, if these aliens want to destroy us, they probably can. But humans don't surrender without a fight." Meanwhile, aboard the Domination, Zektar was reviewing the tactical assessment of human military capabilities. The report was brief and dismissive. "Supreme Commander," Vorthan continued, "they possess approximately 2,000 nuclear devices of varying yields. Their most powerful weapons produce explosions equivalent to 50 megatons. Their space-based assets are negligible. 50 megatons." Zektar's laugh was a harsh buzzing sound. "Our point defense systems can absorb 10 times that energy without strain. What about their ground forces?" "Fragmented into nearly 200 different military organizations. No unified command structure. They fight with chemical propellants and metal projectiles. Some forces use directed energy weapons, but at power levels barely sufficient to damage our atmospheric fighters." Zektar turned to his weapons coordinator. "Open a communication channel to the planet. Let us offer them the customary surrender terms." On Earth, every radio telescope, satellite dish, and communication array suddenly received the same transmission. The message was broadcast in perfect English, Mandarin, Spanish, Arabic, and dozens of other languages simultaneously. "Inhabitants of the planet you call Earth?" The voice was mechanical, emotionless. "I am Supreme Commander Zektar of the Third Hegemony Fleet. Your world has been selected for incorporation into the Hegemony Empire. You will surrender unconditionally within 1 solar rotation, or your cities will be reduced to ash. Your technology will be confiscated. Your population will be relocated to labor worlds. This is not a negotiation." In the Pentagon, the room fell silent. President Chen's voice came through the speaker, steady despite the circumstances. "General, I believe the alien commander just made a critical error." Sir, he threatened our cities, our families. He just gave 7 billion humans the same enemy. General Martinez smiled grimly. Mr. President, should I begin Operation Last Stand? General, I'm authorizing the release of all classified military projects, everything. If we're going down, we're taking as many of them with us as possible. Across the globe, hidden bunkers opened their doors. Projects that had been theoretical suddenly became operational necessities. The orbital kinetic strike platform, dismissed as too expensive, was hastily activated. The quantum entanglement communication network, still in testing, was brought online. Most importantly, Project Prometheus was given the green light. Dr. Emily Foster stood in the underground laboratory beneath CERN, watching as her life's work was prepared for combat deployment. The antimatter containment system had been designed for peaceful energy generation. Now it would become humanity's most devastating weapon. How much do we have ready? General Martinez asked during a video conference with the world's top scientists. Enough antimatter to power New York City for a year, Dr. Foster replied. In weapons terms, that's equivalent to approximately 1,000 hydrogen bombs. And the delivery system? Untested, but theoretically sound. We can package it inside our most advanced ICBM and pray their sensors mistake it for conventional nuclear ordnance. Captain Liu Wei of the Chinese Space Force was reviewing similar preparations aboard the secret orbital platform Tiangong 7. Hidden behind the moon for 3 years, the station mounted humanity's first functional railgun, capable of accelerating projectiles to significant fractions of light speed. Target acquisition locked on the alien flagship, his weapons officer reported. Hold position. Wait for the synchronized strike order. Aboard the Domination, Zektar was growing impatient. Have the humans responded to our ultimatum? Multiple responses, Supreme Commander. Most appear to be what they call profanity. However, there is one official response from their largest governmental alliance. Display it. The message was brief, transmitted from the United Nations building in New York. Dear Zektar, our response is simple. Come and take it. Signed, humanity. Zektar's 6 eyes narrowed. Foolish creatures. Begin the demonstration. Target their largest population center with a limited plasma bombardment. Perhaps watching their cities burn will encourage compliance. The order rippled through the hegemony fleet. The massive ships began moving into bombardment position, their plasma cannons charging with an ominous red glow. On Earth, every radar station tracked the movement. General Martinez opened the global command channel. All units, this is General Martinez. The enemy is moving into attack formation. Remember, we're not just fighting for our lives. We're fighting for the right to exist as free humans. Today, we show the universe that Earth doesn't surrender. Operation Last Stand is now active. Good luck, everyone. The first hegemony plasma beam lanced down toward New York City, a column of superheated energy that could melt steel and vaporize concrete, but it never reached its target. The energy shield that suddenly materialized over Manhattan was humanity's greatest secret. Project Tesla had been considered science fiction until 6 months ago, when breakthrough discoveries in quantum field manipulation made it reality. The plasma beam struck the invisible barrier and scattered harmlessly into the atmosphere. Aboard the Domination, alarm sirens began wailing. Supreme Commander! Vorthon's voice was pitched high with shock. The humans have defensive shielding. The plasma bombardment was completely ineffective. Zektar felt the first stirrings of unease. Impossible. Our intelligence indicated no such technology. Sir, we're also detecting multiple energy signatures launching from the planet's surface. Hundreds of projectiles incoming. Activate point defenses. How many can our systems handle? All of them, Supreme Commander. Human nuclear weapons cannot penetrate our armor. But these weren't just nuclear weapons. The first wave of missiles carried conventional warheads designed to overwhelm point defenses. The second wave carried electromagnetic pulse devices. The third wave carried humanity's real surprise. Dr. Foster watched the telemetry from her underground bunker as her antimatter warhead, disguised among dozens of conventional missiles, approached the alien fleet. "Detonation in 10 seconds," she announced to the Global Command Network. When the antimatter met matter, the explosion was visible from the moon, the equivalent of 1,000 hydrogen bombs detonating simultaneously, created a sphere of pure energy that consumed 3 hegemony warships instantly and severely damaged a dozen others. For the first time in his military career, Supreme Commander Zektar felt fear. "Damage report," he barked. 3 ships destroyed, 12 heavily damaged. Supreme Commander, the humans somehow weaponized antimatter. This level of technology shouldn't be possible for a pre-contact civilization. But the surprises weren't over. Captain Liu Wei's voice crackled over the quantum communication network. "Orbital strike platform is locked on target. Firing." The tungsten projectile launched from behind Earth's moon at nearly 10% the speed of light. When it struck the hegemony flagship, the kinetic energy release was comparable to a small nuclear weapon. The Domination shuddered under the impact, its shields flickering. Zektar realized with growing horror that he had made a catastrophic miscalculation. These humans weren't primitive at all. They were a species that had somehow hidden their true technological capabilities until the moment of attack. "All ships, combat formation," he ordered. "Maximum firepower. These creatures are more dangerous than we anticipated." But the humans weren't finished. From every continent, from hidden bunkers and concealed facilities, humanity's true military might begin to reveal itself. The war for Earth's survival had begun, and the aliens were about to learn why humans had never been conquered by their own kind. The battle intensifies. The space around Earth erupted into chaos as humanity revealed technologies that should have taken centuries to develop. Supreme Commander Zektar watched his tactical display with growing alarm as more human surprises emerged from seemingly empty space. "Supreme Commander," his sensor operator called out urgently. "Multiple contacts materializing around the fleet. They appear to be cloaked vessels." Zektar's mandibles clicked in disbelief. "Cloaking technology? Impossible." But it wasn't impossible. Admiral Sarah Chen commanded the UNS Invisible Hand, humanity's first stealth destroyer, hidden in Earth's orbital debris field for 2 years. The metamaterial coating that made her ship nearly undetectable was based on discoveries that the public wouldn't see for decades. "All stealth units, this is Admiral Chen. Commence close-range torpedo runs. Target their engine clusters." 12 invisible ships suddenly became very visible as they opened fire simultaneously. Their plasma torpedoes, powered by miniaturized fusion reactors, struck the hegemony vessels at point-blank range. The aliens had never encountered an enemy that could approach undetected. Aboard the Domination, chaos reigned as damage reports flooded in. "Sir, we've lost contact with the Crusher and the Devastator. The humans are attacking from multiple vectors." Zektar turned to his communications officer. "Contact the Hegemony High Command. Inform them that the intelligence report on human capabilities was catastrophically inaccurate. Request immediate reinforcements." "Sir, there's something else. We're detecting massive energy buildups on the planet's surface. Multiple locations." On Earth, Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood in the control room of the Osaka Particle Accelerator, now converted into humanity's most ambitious weapon. The facility that once sought to understand the fundamental forces of the universe was now preparing to weaponize them. "Particle beam charging," she announced to the global network. "We'll have one shot at this." The massive accelerator ring, normally used to smash particles together at near-light speeds, now focused its energy into a coherent beam. When it fired, it would send a stream of high-energy particles directly at the alien flagship with enough force to crack a moon. But the humans weren't just fighting in space. On the surface, Major Ricardo Santos led a classified military unit equipped with powered exoskeletons and weapons that officially didn't exist. Their target was the first wave of hegemony landing craft attempting to establish a beachhead in the Amazon rainforest. "Remember your training," Santos told his squad as they moved through the jungle. "These aliens think we're primitive. Let's show them how wrong they are." The hegemony ground forces were indeed formidable. Each warrior stood 3 meters tall, encased in advanced armor that could deflect most conventional weapons. They carried energy rifles that could burn through steel and personal shields that made them nearly invulnerable. What they didn't expect was for the trees themselves to attack. The automated defense drones, disguised as vegetation and controlled by artificial intelligence, opened fire from concealment. The forest became a killing ground as camouflaged humans with electromagnetic railguns picked off alien soldiers who couldn't distinguish between real and artificial foliage. "Contact! Multiple hostiles!" the hegemony squad leader reported as his warriors fell to invisible attackers. "Requesting air support." But air support was busy dealing with its own problems. Earth's atmospheric defense grid, hidden in plain sight as telecommunications towers and weather stations, had revealed its true purpose. Surface-to-air missiles with adaptive AI guidance systems hunted hegemony fighters through the sky, while ground-based laser arrays tracked and destroyed anything that flew too low. Colonel James Park, piloting humanity's most advanced fighter jet from a hidden base in Nevada, grinned as his targeting system locked onto an alien gunship. "Phoenix 1 to all units. The aliens fly like they've never faced opposition. Time to teach them some manners." His missile wasn't just explosive. It carried a localized EMP warhead that shut down the alien ship's systems, sending it crashing into the desert below. Across the globe, human pilots were discovering that superior technology meant nothing if you didn't know how to use it effectively. Back in space, the real battle was just beginning. Fleet Admiral Jiang Wei commanded the hidden human battle group from the asteroid belt, ships disguised as mining operations and research stations. When the order came, they dropped their camouflage and revealed themselves as humanity's true space navy. "All vessels, this is Admiral Jiang. Begin Operation Crossfire." The human ships weren't larger than their alien counterparts, but they were faster and more maneuverable. Their engines, based on controlled antimatter reactions, could accelerate at rates that would crush most organic life forms. Their weapons systems, drawing power directly from miniaturized black holes, could punch through any known armor. Most importantly, they were crewed by humans who had spent their entire lives preparing for this moment. Lieutenant Commander Maria Reyes piloted her interceptor through the hegemony formation with reckless precision, her enhanced reflexes allowing her to dodge plasma beams that moved at a significant fraction of light speed. Her ship's AI, directly interfaced with her nervous system, made her effectively superhuman in combat. "Target acquired," she announced, as her weapons locked onto a hegemony destroyer. "Firing antimatter torpedo." The explosion consumed the alien ship in seconds, but Maria was already moving to her next target. Around her, dozens of human pilots were engaged in similar individual battles, each one a dance of death between human ingenuity and alien firepower. Supreme Commander Zektar watched his fleet being systematically dismantled by an enemy that had appeared primitive just hours ago. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Where did they hide all of this technology?" Intelligence Officer Vorthon worked frantically at his station. "Sir, I'm detecting some kind of quantum communication network linking all human forces. They're coordinating their attacks with perfect timing across multiple theaters of battle." Indeed, the quantum entanglement communication grid was allowing human forces to act as a single unified organism. Every ship, every soldier, Every weapon system was connected in real time, sharing information instantaneously across any distance. It was as if Earth itself had become conscious and was fighting back against the invasion. Dr. Foster's voice came through the network from her underground bunker. Second antimatter warhead ready for deployment. Target selection requested. General Martinez studied the tactical display. Target the hegemony command ship. If we can eliminate their leadership, their coordination will collapse. Understood. Warhead armed and launched. But Zektar had learned from the first antimatter attack. All ships, evasive maneuvers, deploy chaff clouds. Do not let that weapon reach us. The hegemony fleet scattered, launching clouds of metallic particles designed to confuse targeting systems. But the humans had anticipated this response. The antimatter warhead split into 12 smaller devices, each one equipped with its own guidance system and enough power to destroy a city. Multiple antimatter sources incoming, Vorthon reported. Point defenses cannot engage them all. 3 more hegemony ships disappeared in brilliant flashes of light as the warheads found their targets. The alien formation was beginning to break apart under the sustained human assault. On the planet's surface, the Osaka particle accelerator finally reached full charge. Dr. Tanaka's finger hovered over the firing control. Particle beam ready, targeting the enemy flagship. The beam that erupted from the facility was invisible to the naked eye, but devastating in its effect. Moving at nearly the speed of light, it struck the Domination before its sensors could even detect the attack. The flagship's shields collapsed under the assault as high-energy particles tore through its hull structure. Zektar felt his ship shuddering around him as secondary explosions rocked the command deck. Damage report! Hull breaches on decks 15 through 30, main engines offline, life support compromised in sections 7 through 12. For the first time since the battle began, Zektar considered the unthinkable. The humans weren't just resisting. They were winning. Sir, his communications officer called out urgently, we're receiving a transmission from the human leadership. General Martinez's face appeared on the main view screen, her expression calm despite the chaos of battle around her. Supreme Commander Zektar, this is General Martinez of the United Earth Defense Force. I'm calling to offer you the same terms you offered us. Zektar's 6 eyes narrowed. What terms? Surrender unconditionally, and we'll allow your surviving ships to leave our solar system. Continue this attack, and we'll destroy every last one of you. The bridge fell silent, except for the sound of alarms and emergency systems. Zektar looked at his tactical display. Of his original 300 ships, fewer than 100 remained combat effective. The humans had revealed technological capabilities that rivaled or exceeded anything in the hegemony arsenal. You bluff, he said finally. Your planet cannot have this level of technology. It's impossible. General Martinez smiled. Supreme Commander, you made the same mistake that humans have been making for thousands of years. You saw our public technology and assumed that was all we had. Every nation on Earth maintains classified military projects decades ahead of civilian knowledge. When you threatened our existence, you forced us to reveal everything at once. She gestured to something off-screen. We've been preparing for this day since we first looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. Every science fiction story, every doomsday scenario, every possible alien invasion has been studied and planned for. You're not fighting just human technology, Commander. You're fighting human imagination backed by human desperation. Zektar realized the truth of her words. The humans hadn't just hidden their technology. They had deliberately appeared primitive to lure potential enemies into complacency. It was a trap that had worked perfectly. Furthermore, Martinez continued, what you've seen so far is just Earth's defensive capabilities. Our offensive fleet is still approaching your position. As if summoned by her words, new contacts appeared on Zektar's sensors. Ships larger and more powerful than anything he had yet encountered, emerging from the darkness beyond Pluto, where they had been waiting for this exact moment. The real battle was just beginning. The crushing victory. Supreme Commander Zek-Atar stared at his sensors in disbelief as massive human warships emerged from the outer darkness of the solar system. These vessels dwarfed anything he had encountered so far, their hulls stretching 10 kilometers in length and bristling with weapon systems that defied comprehension. "Supreme Commander," Intelligence Officer Vorthan whispered, his voice filled with dread. "Those ships. They're not just hidden military vessels. They're mobile fortresses. How long have the humans been building them?" The answer came from Admiral Catherine Hayes, commander of the UNS Prometheus, humanity's first dreadnought-class starship. Her voice cut across all frequencies as her fleet approached the battered alien formation. "Attention, hegemony forces. This is Admiral Hayes of the Sol Defense Fleet. You have 10 minutes to begin retreat procedures, or we will demonstrate why humanity has never been successfully conquered by any force in this galaxy." Aboard the Prometheus, the crew worked with practiced efficiency despite the magnitude of their situation. Chief Engineer David Kumar monitored the ship's primary weapon system, a device that could theoretically crack a planet's crust. "Admiral, the Stellar Lance is charging normally. We'll have full power in 8 minutes. "Understood, Chief. Communications? Patch me through to Earth Command." General Martinez's face appeared on the command screen, her expression grim but determined. "Admiral Hayes, status report." "We have 15 dreadnoughts in formation, General. The aliens have approximately 90 ships remaining, but they're in full defensive posture. I don't think they understand what they're facing." Indeed, Zek-Tar was struggling to comprehend the tactical situation. His remaining ships were designed to overwhelm primitive civilizations through superior firepower and numbers. They weren't equipped to face an enemy with comparable or superior technology who had been planning this battle for decades. "How did they build ships of this size without our knowledge?" he demanded. Vorthan consulted his intelligence reports, his hands shaking. "Sir, according to our files, the humans have been launching asteroid mining operations and deep space research missions for the past 20 years. It appears these were actually construction projects using the resources of their outer solar system." The truth was even more impressive. Humanity had indeed been mining asteroids, but not for profit. Every gram of rare metals, every chunk of ice, every rocky planetoid had been converted into war materials. The human species had effectively industrialized their entire solar system in preparation for this moment. Captain Lisa Park, commanding the UNS Retribution, opened a channel to the alien flagship. "Supreme Commander Zek-Tar, I'm Captain Park. I wanted to personally thank you for giving humanity a common enemy. Do you have any idea how hard it was to get every nation on Earth to work together? Your invasion threat was exactly what we needed." Zek-Tar felt a chill run through his exoskeleton. You wanted us to attack?" "Not wanted," Captain Park replied. "Expected, planned for. We've been monitoring galactic communications for 50 years, Supreme Commander. We knew someone like you would eventually show up. We just weren't sure when." The revelation hit Zek-Tar like a physical blow. The humans hadn't just defended themselves. They had prepared for this exact scenario, turning their entire civilization into a war machine specifically designed to defeat superior alien technology. "Sir," his tactical officer reported urgently, "the human dreadnoughts are powering up their main weapons. Energy readings are off our scales." Admiral Hayes watched as her 15 ships aligned in perfect formation. Each dreadnought carried a stellar lance, a weapon that channeled the power of a small star into a coherent energy beam. Together, they could sterilize the surface of a planet or punch through any known defensive system. "All ships, this is Admiral Hayes. The alien commander has 1 minute to respond to our ultimatum. If he chooses to continue this battle, we will demonstrate the full might of human military engineering. In the depths of space, other human forces were moving into position. Commander Rachel Stone piloted her stealth bomber through the alien formation, her ship invisible to their sensors. Her cargo bay contained humanity's most devastating secret weapon, a prototype device that could destabilize the quantum structure of matter itself. Command, this is Shadow 1. I'm in position to deploy the quantum disruptor. One detonation should take out their entire remaining fleet. General Martinez's voice came through the secure channel. Negative, Shadow 1. Stand by. We want them to surrender and spread word of what happens when someone threatens Earth. The psychological warfare was as important as the physical battle. Humanity wanted survivors to return to their empire with tales of Earth's defenses. Future alien civilizations needed to understand that attacking humanity was suicide. Zektar realized he was trapped between impossible choices. His remaining ships couldn't win against the human dreadnoughts. Retreat would mean admitting defeat to a species the hegemony had considered primitive. But continuing the fight meant the complete annihilation of his fleet. Sir, Vorthon said quietly, perhaps we should consider the human offer. We've already lost 2/3 of our force. The High Command will want some survivors to report on human capabilities. Before Zektar could respond, his sensors detected new movement throughout the solar system. Additional human forces were emerging from hiding places throughout the asteroid belt, behind the moons of Jupiter, even from within the rings of Saturn. Captain Maria Santos commanded the Jupiter Defense Platform, a massive installation hidden within the Great Red Spot itself. Her facility controlled a network of automated weapon systems distributed throughout the gas giant's moons. Earth Command, this is Jupiter Station. We have the alien retreat route covered. If they try to run, we can intercept them before they reach the edge of the solar system. The net was closing around the hegemony fleet. Humanity had anticipated every possible scenario and prepared accordingly. The aliens weren't just facing Earth's military. They were facing the armed might of an entire solar system that had been converted into a fortress. Dr. Foster's voice came through the global network from her bunker. General Martinez, we have enough antimatter remaining to construct one more surprise. With your permission, I'd like to demonstrate something that might encourage alien surrender. Approved, Doctor. What do you have in mind? A selective antimatter detonation. We can destroy their weapon systems without killing their crews. It should convince them that resistance is pointless. The antimatter warhead that emerged from Earth's surface was different from its predecessors. Instead of a single massive explosion, it separated into hundreds of smaller charges, each one guided by advanced AI to target specific subsystems on the alien ships. The result was spectacular. Across the hegemony formation, weapon arrays simply vanished in flashes of light. Engine systems went offline. Shield generators disappeared. In seconds, the remaining alien fleet was rendered completely helpless. Incredible, Admiral Hayes murmured as she watched the precision display. They disabled every weapon in the enemy fleet without killing a single alien. Zektar stared at his control panels in shock. Every offensive and defensive system on his ship was offline, but life support and basic navigation remained functional. The humans had demonstrated surgical precision that exceeded anything in hegemony technology. Supreme Commander, his communications officer reported, we're receiving another transmission from the human leadership. President Chen's face appeared on the view screen, his expression calm but resolute. Supreme Commander Zektar, you have witnessed a small sample of humanity's defensive capabilities. Your fleet has been neutralized without unnecessary loss of life because we believe in proportional response. However, our patience has limits. Behind the president, Zektar could see displays showing additional human forces throughout the galaxy. Ships that had launched years ago, disguised as exploration vessels, were revealing themselves as forward observation posts and weapons platforms. "Your hegemony controls how many worlds?" President Chen asked rhetorically. 17? "We've been watching you for decades, Supreme Commander. We have assets within a dozen of your conquered systems. We know your fleet movements, your supply lines, your military capabilities. If necessary, we can bring this war to your home worlds." The threat hung in space like a physical presence. Zektar realized that humanity hadn't just prepared to defend Earth. They had prepared to take the fight to any enemy that threatened them. General Martinez appeared on another screen. "Supreme Commander, we're offering you one final opportunity. Order your remaining ships to power down completely and prepare to be escorted to the edge of our solar system. You will be provided with supplies and fuel sufficient to return to your space. In exchange, you will carry a message to your high command." "What message?" Zektar asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "That Earth is under the protection of humanity, and humanity has claimed this solar system as sovereign territory. Any future incursions will be met with overwhelming force. We don't want to conquer other worlds, Commander, but we will defend our own with everything we possess." Admiral Hayes added her own warning. "Furthermore, Supreme Commander, you should inform your leaders that human technology advances exponentially. What you've seen today represents our current capabilities. In 10 years, we'll be twice as powerful. In 50 years, we'll possess weapons that can reshape galaxies. The wise course is to leave us alone." Zektar looked around his disabled bridge, at his defeated crew, at the tactical display showing hundreds of human ships in perfect formation around his helpless fleet. The humans had demonstrated not just superior technology, but superior tactics, superior coordination, and superior strategic thinking. I accept your terms," he said finally. The surrender was broadcast across all frequencies, ensuring that every surviving alien crew member heard their commander's words. The psychological impact was devastating. The mighty Third Hegemony Fleet, conqueror of 17 worlds, had been utterly crushed by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Over the next 6 hours, human ships carefully escorted the disabled alien vessels to the edge of the solar system. Engineers provided just enough power and supplies for the journey home, ensuring the survivors could deliver their message. As the defeated fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, Zektar sent one final transmission to Earth. "General Martinez, may I ask you something?" "Go ahead." "Supreme Commander, how long have you been preparing for this?" Martinez smiled. "Since the first human looked up at the stars and wondered if something was looking back. We've been preparing for you for our entire existence as a species. We just didn't know what you would look like." The alien ships vanished into hyperspace, carrying their message of defeat back to the hegemony. In the aftermath, humanity began the process of revealing its true capabilities to its own population. The secret was out. Earth was no longer a defenseless world in a hostile galaxy. Admiral Hayes stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, watching Earth rotate peacefully in the distance. Her communications officer approached with a priority message from the planet's surface. "Admiral, we're receiving hundreds of requests from world governments. They want to know what other surprises humanity has been hiding." Hayes laughed. "Tell them they'll find out when the next alien fleet shows up. Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt and overcome. Today, we proved that principle on a galactic scale." In his underground bunker, Dr. Foster was already working on new projects. The antimatter weapons had performed perfectly, but she had ideas for even more devastating systems. Humanity had won this battle, but the galaxy was vast and full of potential enemies. The victory celebration would be brief. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. Other civilizations would take notice. Some might seek alliance, others might plan revenge. But for now, Earth was safe, and the message was clear throughout the galaxy. Humanity would not surrender. Humanity would not submit. and anyone foolish enough to threaten human civilization would discover why the species that had conquered its own world was not to be underestimated. The age of human expansion into the galaxy had begun, and the universe would never be the same.